Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Southbound I-35, your stop for Texas country and red dirt music news and reviews, where you won't have to worry about those Nashville blues. I'm your host David Ryan, and this week I'll be covering Fowler Fest, the real one this time, Shane Smith's new album Geronimo, and more shoutouts. Before I get to Fowler Fest, I want to mention that I'm really liking the Periscope app. Last Friday night I got on and caught the tail end of a Patrick Winsett concert in Oklahoma City, which is really cool. Being where I am in Austin, I don't get to see much of the Oklahoma red dirt scene, and I really appreciated their streaming it. I only got to hear about 3 of their songs, but I really liked what I heard, and I'm going to check out more of their music. I'll definitely feature them here sometime, but if you haven't heard them and want to check out their music, you can find them on the Reverb Nation page, which I'll put in the description, and follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/foolishpband. So, after all the confusion about the Kevin Fowler concert in Helotes, I finally got to the REAL Fowler Fest. I've been trying to go since I moved here and been prevented due to job, school, lining up with certain holidays I observed, so this was my first time going. It was a blast. I couldn't get there in time to see Cody Bryant, unfortunately. You see, when I was about to leave, I realized my phone was nearly full, so I had to dump everything onto my computer, which took about 10 minutes. Then I left and realized I'd left my ticket behind, and then ended having to drive really slow because driving west meant driving directly into the sun without sunglasses. But once I got there, I found a good place to put up my chair and got there in time to see Jack Ingram. Next year, I'll get there on time. I've heard Jack Ingram's songs a lot on the radio before and knew his name, despite the fact that I'm horrible with associating names with songs, but I've never seen him live before. I think part of the reason is I still need to follow him on Bands in Town, or something. I'll get into that. Jack Ingram has a great traditional country sound and is great listening to all around. He's been in the business for a good while now and has a great range of songs. That night he went through a set of songs including Barefoot and Crazy, where he took off his boots and put them on the mic stand, Barbie Doll, and Love You. If you want to hear more from him, you can hear him live at the West Texas Fair in Abilene, Texas on September 19th, and Boots, Birds, and Birdies at the Pleasanton Fairgrounds in Pleasanton, Texas on October 10th. For more on his music, you can check out jackingram.net and on Twitter at twitter.com/jackingram. Up next was Kyle Park. Since living here, I've seen a few of his concerts and I really like his style. He's got a good range from more traditional country to country rock, and he's got a really unique voice which I really like. He went through a lot of his more well-known songs like Leavin' Stephenville and Long Distance Relationship, as well as newer songs like Love, Drunk, and Tipsy and What Goes Around Comes Around. If you want to hear more from him, you can see him live at the Taylor County Expo Center in Abilene, Texas on September 18th, Midnight Rodeo in San Angelo, Texas on September 19th, and Denim and Diamonds in Tucson, Arizona on September 24th, and Mesa, Arizona on September 25th. Also, he's got music available on his website, kylepark.com, and a new album coming out October 23rd. Then came the Panhandle poor boy himself, Kevin Fowler, and he nailed it. I talked about him last time, but I cannot stress enough about his showmanship. He can work up a crowd, get everyone on their feet, and singing along to every song that he sings. Being my introduction to Texas country, he is one of my favorites, and I try and see at least one of his concerts every year. These past 2 concerts make up for the fact that I wasn't able to see any of them last year. He rocked the stage with songs like 100% Texan, Butterbean, Daddies and Daughters, How Country Are Ya, and his new song, Damn This Old Honky Tonk Dream, which he co-wrote with Daryl Dodd. If you weren't able to make Fowler Fest, you can see Kevin at Jab Fest in Lubbock, Texas on September 19th, CW Scooters in Lawton, Oklahoma on September 25th, and the Colorado County Fair in Columbus, Texas on September 26th. Of course, you can find more of his music on kevinfowler.com, where you can still download his new single for free. Follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/kevinfowler, and you can check out my review of his first album, Beer, Bait, and Ammo, on episode 1 of Southbound I-35. Overall, the concert was great. Everyone gave it their all and put on a good show with everyone on their feet, and there was even some two-stepping going on whenever there was room. There were some onstage hijinks throughout the show, with Kyle Park sneaking up behind Kevin Fowler during Beer, Bait, and Ammo and joining him and singing along, Kevin popping in during others' performances, and another cool thing was, even though it looked like there would only be meet and greets in the VIP section, everyone came out after their respective performances and met with fans. I had a great time and was glad that it was at Nutty Brown Cafe this time, because that meant I didn't have to drive hours to get home, so I could get to bed at a decent hour. And for those who have not yet heard of them, Shane Smith and the Saints are a band from East Texas that holds to more of a folk rock sound. Shane Smith, the lead singer, has a deep, highly expressive voice and great songwriting talent, and all the members of his band, from Bennett on the fiddle to Chase on the bass, work well together to make each song an experience. Geronimo's their second album. Their first was Coast, which I reviewed back in episode 5. Like Coast, Geronimo is full of great songs that are full of emotion and creativity. So let's not waste any more time and check out Geronimo. Shane Smith and the Saints start the album off with a bang with The Mountain, a song patterned after old Appalachian folk songs about the aftermath of the death of a coal miner. They've been giving sneak peeks of this song for a while now, singing the chorus a cappella to start off shows, and the rest of the song does not disappoint. It shows off all the band's talents, from pulling off tight harmonies to setting the mood with their music. All I See Is You is a declaration of how no matter how old he gets, there's only one person for him. It showcases Shane's stream of consciousness writing style, and with a great melody, overall smooth and flowing feel, it is definitely a song to listen to and think of that person who's closest to you.
Like a bandit out on the loose, and all the clouds are black as nightfall, but all I see is you. And rain's pouring through the window panes and the cracks of this room. Tea's boiling from the spout of the pot, but all I see is you.
Out of 5 albums I've reviewed, 3 have talked about this. It's like Texas has oil or something. Oil Town is a slow song about the ups and downs of an oil town before and after the oil is actually found. It captures the lonely uncertainty that comes with living in such a place and the joy that comes with the success. It's a slow waltz that has a great harmonica line.
They made money, they'll spend it like hell. They took their debt, their pain and regrets, and they left them beneath that well. Oil town, you have black gold beneath your ground. Take me down.
Imagine a place where music rules, a place where musicians can go and live and make a living without worry. In New Orleans, Shane speaks about his heavenly revelation of a musician's utopia. It's got a very different feel than his other songs, starting off slow, light, and minimal, and growing as the narrative gets closer and closer to the musical paradise it speaks of.
Down in New Orleans, it's yonder past the lily pads, through the kudzu vines. Underneath the hanging moss, you won't need a sign.
Whiskey and Water is a slow song where Shane reflects on the beginnings of his career, the ups and downs, and his faith that kept him grounded through it all. It has a solemn, lonely feel to it that draws you into the story.
Through the laughter, and every now and then I just give in. Whiskey and water.
Right Side of the Ground is another contemplative song about worrying about how one's significant other feels about one's touring and the rumors that come along with it. It shows Shane's willingness to show vulnerability, which is, again, something I really admire about Texas country and red dirt artists.
Cause I've spent time on the wrong side of a church door, and I've held hands with the devil in the more than just one town. A bed by 40, the stories make you question me. Gotta face them down.
Geronimo is an album with a lot of songs dealing with the concepts of guilt, sin, and salvation, which comes from Shane's Catholic roots, and I Can Hear Them Now is a big example, talking about wrestling with reminders of his past on his own. It is an eerie song with a great fiddle part fitting of a song about dealing with the devil. It also has great driving beat and an atmosphere that makes you feel his uneasiness and fear.
Begging me to open up that door, and I can hear him now.
Susanna is a great up-tempo story song about a soldier thinking about his lover while he's off at war, and how her memory keeps him going as he fights. It really showcases the ability of the entire band, and there is a great duet between the fiddle and guitar. If you were for some reason stuck having to only get one song from this album, I would say get this one, or if not this one, The Mountain.
He kissed her on the riverboat, they fell in love that night. Education came from farming, so he signed to join the army. That boy could cut a hayfield when he was only 5, and he's felt his hard time, seen as pain.
The light, upbeat waltz that accompanies Crockett's prayer belies the emotional struggle of a soldier fighting at the Alamo and what he goes through as the situation gets more and more dire. It shows off Shane's ability to show more subtle emotion in his singing, and like a lot of the other songs on this album, gets the listener to feel what the narrator is feeling. I really don't need to point this out, but pride in being from Texas is a common theme in Texas country, and Lord Bury Me in Texas reflects this trope in spades, saying that no matter where he goes or what he does in exploring outside the state lines, Texas is his home where he wants to end up. It features a more folky song with prominent fiddle and banjo. Born and Raised is a song he wrote with his wife about how much they remind each other of home. It's a tender, responsive duet that shows how close they are. It's a quiet song with acoustic guitar and subtle fiddle lines.
But I guess it's true.
Well, maybe that's a small town thing. My daddy had a story sounded just the same. We'd buy minutes nearly every week with cane poles in his Jeep.
You're like me, Texas queen. I knew it from the start. 'Cause you drank whiskey like a fountain youth, had a tap straight to that bar.
When All Is Lost is a song about things that bring comfort to Shane during hard and lonely times. It keeps in the album's overall themes of traveling and struggle. The music has a slow, appreciative, reassuring tone that builds throughout the song and captures the tone of the lyrics perfectly.
They keep me warm through cold times. They might lonesome day.
In Runaway Train, Shane talks about his wanderlust and some of the places and good times it's led him to, and how this is exactly how he wants to be and how he doesn't want it any other way. It's got a good mid-tempo beat and nostalgic air about it which gets your imagination going.
I was born to run, so run I may. Come take my hand on this runaway train. And if I'd
What a Shame is an anthem about the struggles Shane and his band have gone through and how they've overcome them. He speaks of wasted 9-to-5 job hours that he doesn't feel were worth the time that he could have been spending pursuing what he loves, and despite the hard times, when he gets on stage, all of his doubt disappears. It starts out a bit slow and solemn, but develops into a joyous determination as the song moves on.
The friends we've made and lovers past, bail bond loans and Sunday mass, they have opened up a newer life to me. Well, what a shame, a crying shame, 9 to 5, it's all the same, but you won't take those.
The album ends with its namesake, Geronimo, a slow, deliberate song about pressing on through struggles and putting everything on the line as they go, and invoke the name of the Native American chief who did the same. The song incorporates some Native American tribal aesthetics and blends them together with folk rock to make a great listening experience.
The wind, it lifts the desert sand, sings a song of the elder man. The name he bears will echo on through time.
Overall, I really liked this album. If I had to choose a favorite song, I'd have to say either Susanna or The Mountain, if those weren't obvious already. The Mountain has, as I said earlier, a great bluegrass feel that reflects the Appalachian location the story is set in, while Susanna has its own unique, more rock-oriented sound. Both of them have an epic feel about them, and I have a thing for story songs. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the album seems to have some running themes of traveling and overcoming struggles, both mundane and spiritual, and it shows a wide range of emotional dynamics for Shane and the band and how well they all work together. Geronimo was officially released on September 12th, and you can get it on iTunes and Amazon. If you want to catch Shane Smith and the Saints live, you can see them at City Limits with Josh Abbott in Stephenville at September 18th, the Rockin' Rodeo in Denton, Texas on September 24th, and Medicine Stone in Tahlequah, Oklahoma on September 26th. You can also find more of their music and videos on ShaneSmithMusic.com and follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/ShaneSmithMusic. And now it is time once again for shoutouts. First up is Aaron McDonnell. Aaron McDonnell is an Oregon expat who now lives in Austin, Texas. He has a good traditional country sound and a deeper baritone voice. This is a song, Leave It.
Want this burden on me, I won't listen to a word of that you say. 'Cause all the money in the wide world won't fix a thing.
As y'all can see, he has more of a polished sound than most Texas and Red Dirt artists, which might reek of Nashville to some, but I honestly think he takes the old-style country and succeeds in adding polish where Nashville usually fails. I say usually because there is Sturgill Simpson who totally nails it. If you want to hear more, you can catch him live at the Buzz Mill in Austin, Texas on September 24th and October 1st, and Moon Tower Saloon in Austin, Texas on October 2nd. You can also check out his music on AaronMcDonald.com, where he has his EP available for free download. You can also follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/McDonaldAaron. Next up is someone y'all have probably heard before without actually knowing that you have. Jerrod Flusche, currently a guitarist for the Texas country band Dolly Shine, came out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area and has been involved in a wide variety of music ranging from punk to, of course, Texas country. This is his single, The Dark.
Need to clear my head of all this negative thinking.
Back in 2013, he got in with Sam Riggs and the Night People, where he can be heard in such songs as When the Lights Go Out, Angola's Lament, and Hold On and Let Go, which y'all can preview on my Outrun the Sun review on episode 5. He has solid guitar skills and a pretty good voice too. You can catch him and Dolly Shine live at Rhymes and Vines in Stephenville, Texas on September 18th, Santa Rita Frontier Days in Big Lake, Texas on September 19th, and the Rockin' Rodeo in Denton, Texas on September 24th. You can also check out his music on JerrodFlusche.com and DollyShineMusic.com and follow him on Twitter at twitter.com/JerrodFlusche. And finally, I was going to do a shout out for the Colt West band here, but when I reached out to them about using their music, I got no response. Then when I went to go on their website again to get more band info to just talk about them, the site was down, so I can't say much aside from the fact that they have an EP on iTunes called Carnival Ride, which is kind of sad because the few songs they had sounded pretty good with a nice country rock sound. I'm not sure exactly if they're disbanded or just on hiatus, but if anyone could get me some information on them if they're still active, I'd like to give them a proper feature here. Well, that's it for this week's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed listening. If you did, or even if you didn't, I would greatly appreciate any ratings and reviews on iTunes or Stitcher. These not only help me know what I'm doing right and how to improve, but also get Southbound I-35 out into the public eye more. Thanks to those who have done so already. And once again, thanks for listening to Southbound I-35, the road that always takes you home. All music featured on this episode of Southbound I-35 was used with permission from their respective artists. If you have any concerns about how I've used your music, want to submit your own music for a review, or just say howdy, please email me at southboundpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/southboundI35.